Welcome back. So in our previous video, we were discussing time of supply and we have covered time of supply of goods, which is covered in section 12. So now we would be covering the time of supply provisions for services, which is given in section 13 of CGST Act, guys. Clear? Chalo. Here also we have 6 subsections and whatever is covered in the subsection is same as whatever is given for goods. But the content is different, especially for forward charge and reverse charge, the content is different. For other provisions like for voucher, residuary cases, value addition and all, it remains same, guys. It remains same. Chalo. I will start with subsection 1. The liability to pay tax on services shall arise at the time of supply as determined in terms of the provisions of this section, that is section 13. So the time of supply of services is given in section 13. So the liability to pay tax with respect to services will be determined as per section 13. So first one, 13.2 now, means forward charge. As I already told you guys, whenever you are deciding time of supply under forward charge, you need to think from whose point of view? Supplier point of view. You need to think from supplier point of view. Now, you are the supplier who has supplied the services, you issued invoice and collected the payment. Let us see. 13.2. The time of supply of services shall be before this. Let me explain once again. See, for services, due date to issue invoice is due date to issue invoice is two category are there. Normal cases, it is always normal cases within 30 days. Within 30 days of what? Completion of service. If you have completed the service on 15th June, within 30 days from 15th June, you have to issue invoices. Or in case of okay, let me just mention. In case of banking, insurance, NBFC, that is non-banking financial company, and financial institutions. Financial institution, that is, these 4 people are called as special category people here. They will issue invoice within 45 days, guys. Within 45 days. So this due date is given in which section? Section 31. Section 31. You can take down this. With respect to services, the due date to issue invoice is in normal cases within 30 days. In 4 special cases, means if the suppliers are banking company, insurance company, or NBFC or financial institution, then it has to be issued within 45 days. Within 45 days. Is that clear? See, if the supplier, who is supplier, if it is not mentioned, always follow normal case, guys. If they have clearly given in the question, the supplier is banking, insurance, or financial institution, or NBFC, then only it is 45 days. In all other case, it is 30 days. In the question, they are not given who is the supplier. Always apply 30 days. Always apply 30 days. This is what? Due date to issue invoice. Due date to issue invoice. And the time of supply, they are connected to due date to issue invoice. So what they have told? There are 2 categories. That is, invoice issued, let me tell, invoice issued, just a second. My handwriting is not so good, but still, I hope you guys can understand. Issued within due date. Within due date. 2 options, yes or no. If it is yes, then no. So if it is yes, time of supply will be earlier of. Please pay attention. Invoice, if it is issued within due date for services, what is the time of supply? So this is for services, whatever I am explaining now. services under forward charge mechanism. FCM means forward charge mechanism. Time of supply will be earlier of date of invoice or date of payment. Date of payment, only 2 dates. Clear? Yes, sir. So invoice is issued within 30 days or in special cases within 45 days. Okay. If invoice is not issued, then the time of supply will be earlier of what? 2 dates again. Earlier of 2 dates. Here, invoice is not issued within due date. So don't take date of invoice. So what should I take? Date of completion of service, or we call it as date of provision of service. Means on what day service is provided or completed, or date of payment. Date of payment. So check, guys. Date of payment is common under both the points. But what will change? If invoice is issued within due date, take the date of invoice, not the due date of invoice. Take the date of invoice. Okay. Sir, what if the invoice is not issued within the due date? Then take, instead of date of invoice, replace that with date of completion of service. So you have not issued the invoice within due date. So don't take the date of invoice. Instead of that, take what? Date of provision of service, or we call it as date of completion of service. So this is the time of supply for services under forward charge, guys. So please be attentive here. What is under forward charge for services? Date of payment will play a major role. Whereas for goods, date of payment has been removed. Agree? 12.2 talks about the time of supply for goods under forward charge. Agree? So what is there? Earlier of 2 dates. Date of invoice or due date of invoice. Date of payment is not there. Whereas for services, it is not like that. Agree? So first check whether invoice is issued within time anta. So for which we should know what is the due date to issue invoice. We need to refer to section 31. 30 days or 45 days criteria. Okay, sir. If the invoice is issued within due date, then the time of supply will be date earlier of date of invoice or date of payment. Sir, no, sir. Invoice is not issued within due date. So in that case, don't take date of invoice. Instead of that, take date of completion of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. So you can see in both the places, date of payment is there. Whether you issue invoice within due date or not, date of payment is a common point. Now, who is making the payment? Supplier or recipient? Recipient. So we are discussing the forward charge under section 13.2. Agree. So what is date of payment? Earlier of 2 dates. Earlier of 2 dates. Earlier of date of credit, not debit, date of credit in bank account. Please be very careful because supplier is receiving the payment under forward charge. Date of credit in bank account or date of entry in books of accounts. Of whom? Supplier. Date of entry in the books of accounts of the supplier. Hope it is clear for you. This is all about the services time of supply under forward charge, guys. Easy? Clear? Chalo. Fine. So before discussing the time of supply, first let us see what is the time limit to issue invoice for services. Let us straight away go to section 31. Fine. Come to the section 31. Section 31. See, due date to issue invoice will come only in case of forward charge, guys, whether it is for goods or services. Yeah, under reverse charge, due date we will never consider. Yeah. Section 31, read with rule 47, mandates that the time limit for issue of invoice is as follows. So the time limit or the due date to issue invoice is as follows. Taxable supply of services. Invoice must be issued within 30 days from the date of supply of service. This is in normal cases. Or 45 days where the supplier is banking companies, insurance company, financial institution, and NBFC, guys. So for this 4 suppliers, 45 days, some extra time is given. Whereas for all others, it is only 30 days. It is only 30 days. Okay, sir. Next, continuous supply of services. Day in, day out, there is continuous supply of services. In that case, it will be difficult to issue invoice on day-to-day basis. So what is the time limit to issue invoice? This is for continuous supply of services. Invoice must be issued on or before the due date of payment, where the contract specifies the due date. Means normally in case of continuous supply of services, there will be a contract between supplier and recipient. So if the due date for payment is specified in the contract, that is the time limit to issue invoice. Then date of actual receipt of payment, where the due date is not ascertainable. So in the contract between the recipient and supplier, there is no due date of payment. In that case, take actual date of payment as the due date to issue invoice. As the due date to issue invoice. Okay. Next. Or date of completion of milestone event, where the payment is linked to completion of milestone event. Now assume I am the supplier who is providing continuous supply of services to you. We have a contract between us, and recipient, means the recipient has told only when you complete 60% of the work, or only when you complete this much work, first floor or second floor work, you will get this much payment. So payment is linked to some milestone event. That is, only if the supplier of service complete this much work, he will be getting a part of the payment. So in that case, the date of completion of that milestone event is the due date to issue invoice, guys. Clear? Yes. Last clause here. In case where the supply of services ceases under a contract. So a service which was partly completed is closed, ceases, cancelled under a contract before the completion of the supply. The invoice shall be issued at the time when the supply ceases, and such invoice shall be issued to the extent of supply made before such cessation. Now, I had agreed to issue supply services to you for next 3 years. But after 1 year, you are cancelling my service because you are not happy with my service, you are cancelling it. So in that case, the date on which you are cancelling my service, no. So from in future, I will not be providing it. But with respect to whatever service I have provided in 1 year before the cancellation, the due date to issue invoice is the date of cancellation. On what day you have cancelled my service, till that day, how much ever service I have completed, I need to issue invoice for it. Yeah, this is the clause C is applicable only in case of cancellation of service in between. Means partly completed service, I have not completely done it, but you have cancelled the services for any reasons. For any reasons. Yeah, so this is the due date to issue invoice by the supplier to recipient in case of supply of services, guys. Clear? In this, what is more important is A point. Yeah, this is where maximum scenarios will fall. So, and questions are also asked on those only. Chalo. So we understood what is the due date to issue invoice. Now let us learn what is the time of supply. The time of supply of services shall be in case where the invoice has been issued on time, means within due date. As per section 31, the earlier of the date of issue of invoice and date of receipt of payment. Please be careful, date of receipt of payment, because under forward charge, we are thinking from whose point of view? Supplier point of view. Clear? So don't get confused, because for goods we learned that. Just a second. Under reverse charge, here for goods, I am talking about goods, the date of payment was there. And here the date of what payment? Date of making the payment, because this was under reverse charge. We were thinking from recipient point of view. So what we took? Date of debit in the bank account or date of recording the payment in the books of accounts of the recipient. Yeah, but there it is a different story. There it is a different story. Chalo. Earlier of date of issue of invoice and date of receipt of payment. What is date of receipt of payment? I have given it here. Come on, let us read it. Date of receipt of payment would be earlier of date of credit in supplier's bank account or date on which the receipt of payment is recorded in the books of accounts of whom? Supplier. Why? Because we are under forward charge. So date of payment should be taken from whose point of view? Supplier's point of view. So for services, for goods, we took under reverse charge, we took date of debit in the bank account of the recipient and date of entering in the books of accounts of the recipient. Why? Because reverse charge we always think from recipient point of view. So their date of payment means date of payment by the recipient. But here for services we are under forward charge. Agree? So what is the date of payment? So supplier is receiving the payment. So date of credit in his bank account or the date of making the receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. Let me give an example for this. See guys, recipient has made a payment to me. So I have recorded 10th November. So credit to bank account is on 10th November. But I have recorded this payment in my books of accounts on 20th November. What is the entry I have passed? Bank account debit to recipient. Who has made the payment? Recipient. So I have passed the entry bank to recipient on what day? 20th November. So date of entry in the books of accounts of the supplier is 20th November. Date of credit in my bank account is 10th November. Which is earlier? 10th November. So what is the date of payment? 10th November. Clear? So please be careful. Under reverse charge we think from recipient point of view, whereas for forward charge from supplier's point of view while deciding date of payment also. Okay, fine sir. Next, let us continue. Clause B. In case where the invoice has not been issued. So here has been issued, here not been issued. On time as per section 31, earlier of the date of provision of service and the date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. Okay. Last clause. In a case where provision of clause A or clause B do not apply. So in case where provision of clause A or clause B do not apply, means I am not able to determine the time of supply as per A and B, then apply C. What is the C? Date on which the recipient shows the receipt of services in his books of accounts. Date on which recipient. See, here we are thinking from recipient point of view because I am not able to determine the time of supply as per A and B. At least next option is what? Determine as per clause C. What they are telling? The date of the entry, the date on which the recipient shows the receipt of services in his books of accounts, that is the time of supply. Yeah. See, don't straight away go to C. Always check whether you fall under A or B. If by chance, if you are not able to determine the time of supply as per A and B, then only you will go to C. Don't straight away go to C. Fine? Yes, sir. So, next, this is all about the time of supply for services under forward charge. Illustrations. Mohit and Sons is a firm of management consultants. The firms enter into a contract with Spark Private Limited on 1st September for providing consultancy services. Provision of service gets completed on 15th September. So when the service is completed, guys, 15th September. Invoice for the service is issued on 20th September. So when the invoice is issued within 30 days, yes, sir. Service is completed on 15th September. Invoice is issued on 20th September. Okay, fine. So invoice is issued within the time. And payment is received on 10th October. So what is the time of supply? Invoice is issued within time. So the time of supply will be earlier of date of invoice or the date of payment. So date of invoice is 20th September. Date of payment is 10th October, which is earlier 20th September, guys. Is that clear? And I have told you, please be very clear with this. Whenever they don't specifically mention who is the supplier in the question, always apply 30 days that for the time limit to issue invoice, guys. If they clearly mention that the supplier is banking, insurance, or financial institutions or NBFC, then only you consider 45 days. Since invoice is issued within 30 days from the date of supply of service, the time of supply is the date of issue of invoice, that is 20th September, being earlier than date of receipt of payment. Yeah. Next, if in the above illustration, invoice is issued on 5th October, is it issued within 30 days? Sir, service is completed on 15th September. Invoice is issued on 5th October. So is it issued within 30 days? 15, yeah, actually, it is issued. Just a second. just a second, make it as 25th October. Yeah, 25th October. If in the above illustration, invoice is issued on 25th October, the time of supply will be the date of provision of service. That is 15th September being earlier than date of receipt of payment. Why? Sir, simple. Please pay attention. Service is completed on 15th September. You need to issue invoice within 30 days. You have issued invoice on 25th October of next month, which is after 30 days. So you have not issued the invoice within the due date. So what is the time of supply? Date of provision of service, that is 15th September in this case, or date of payment, which is 10th October, whichever is earlier, 15th September. 15th September. Yeah, so in this case, invoice is not issued within 30 days. It is actually 25th October, not 5th October. I'll make that change. Next, note. In terms of proviso to section 13.2, for a payment of up to 1000, see, and now let me just give clarity before reading this. See, for services under forward charge, if any advance is received, is it taxable? Yes, advance is taxable because date of payment will be earlier. Agree? So assume I have received some advance for which I will be providing services in the future. So date of payment is earlier. So supply. Okay, sir. Whereas for goods, advance is not taxable because date of payment is not there. It has been removed. Okay. So, but a proviso has been given telling in terms of proviso to section 13.2, for a payment of up to 1000 received in excess of invoice value, the supplier can choose to take the date of invoice issued with respect to such excess amount as the time of supply of services in relation to such excess value. Means, assume you have received some 500, 600 extra over and above in the invoice. Okay, let me give. In the invoice, 10,000 amount was charged, but you are receiving some extra amount. Assume you are receiving 10,600. So 600 extra is received. So for that, date of receipt of payment is the time of supply. Yes, but they are telling you can, if the extra amount whatever you have received, if it is less than 1000 rupees or if it is up to 1000 rupees, you can take date of invoice only. Date of invoice, because normally if any extra amount is received, it will be adjusted in the next invoice. Agree? In the upcoming invoice, that is when the next supply is made. So they are telling if the excess amount is up to 1000 rupees over and above invoice value, then on that extra amount you can pay tax taking time of supply as date of invoice. But sir, what if it is more than 1000? Assume the amount charged in the invoice was 10,000. I received 12,000. So 2000 extra over and above 10,000. So for 10,000, time of supply will be 13.2. For 2000, straight away date of payment. Why? Extra amount. Invoice is not yet issued. I have received over and above invoice amount. So for this 2000, you will pay tax on receipt basis. That is, time of supply will be the date on which you have received it. Straight away. Clear? Yes. Chalo. I have also given an example for this. This provision facilitates the supplier to defer the payment of tax on small amounts typically received by him in excess of invoice amount. Clear? And this is not like whatever interest, fee, penalty, that is not. See, this is like some extra amount is received over and above invoice value. Now it is not interest, fee or penalty, because interest, fee, penalty will come under subsection 6. Example I have given you. A telephone company receives 5,000 against an invoice of 4,800. The excess means invoice is issued for 4,800, but they are received how much? 5,000, 200 extra over and above. The excess amount of 200 can be adjusted against next invoice. The company has the option to take the date of next invoice as the time of supply of services in relation to the amount of 200 received in excess against earlier invoice. So if you receive anything over and above invoice value up to 1000 rupees, you will pay tax in the next invoice. Means you will adjust it in the next invoice, pay tax on it. But if the excess amount is more than 1000, then you need to pay tax on that day. On means the time of supply will be the date of receiving that amount. You will pay tax within 20th of next month. Yeah. So this is all about the forward charge for services, guys. Now coming to reverse charge. Whenever you are discussing about reverse charge for time of supply, you need to think from whose point of view, guys? Recipient. You need to think from recipient point of view. Let us see. Before doing this, let me just recall. Let me just recall section 12.3, which talks about reverse charge mechanism for goods. That is time of supply for goods under reverse charge. What is it? Earlier of 3 dates. Come on, guys. Date of receipt of goods, date of payment, or date of making the payment, because recipient is the one who will make the payment, or 31st day from the date of issue of invoice. 31st day. Clear? This is for goods. Now let us see for services. A slight change is there. The time of supply of services under reverse charge mechanism is the earliest of the following. Date immediately following 60 days from the date of issue of invoice or any other document by whatever name called in lieu thereof by the supplier. So here you need to take 61st day. So for goods, it is 31st day. For services, extra 30 days is given. So it is 60 days. For goods, it is 30 days under 12.3. Yes, sir. Next, date of payment, which is earlier of. So date of payment, from whose point of view? Recipient. Recipient is receiving payment or making payment? Making payment. So date of payment means earlier of date of debit in the bank account or date of recording the payment in the books of accounts by the recipient. I have already given the example for this when I was discussing the goods. Let me just explain this. See, guys, whatever date of payment here, which is given here, it is from supplier point of view. Supplier is receiving the payment. Agree? And whatever date of payment is given under reverse charge is from the recipient point of view, because recipient is making the payment. Let me just give an example for this. Assume I am a recipient. I am making payment. My bank account is debited. My bank account is debited on 15th October. But I have made the entry in my books of accounts. What is the entry? Supplier account debit. For me, it is a payment. Na? So to bank or to cash. Okay. Which is earlier here? 15th October. So this is the date of making payment for recipient. So whenever you make payment, your bank account will be debited. Yes, that date or the date on which you are recording the payment, whichever is earlier, guys. This is for recipient under reverse charge. Clear? Same thing is given even under section 12.3. 12.3 for reverse charge under goods. Agree, na? Yes, sir. So now if I just compare the goods and services. See, for goods, date of receipt of goods is there. For services, it is not there. Date of receipt of services, because we cannot exactly tell when you have received the services, because services and all is intangible. So they have not kept that point. Then for goods, it is 31st day of the date of invoice. But for services, it is 61st day. So 30 extra days has been given for services. Okay. Then for goods, one more point is date of payment, which is same even for services. Even for services. So for goods, it is earlier of 3 dates, whereas for services, it is earlier of 2 dates. Clear, guys? One extra thing for goods is date of receipt of goods. Clear? Yes. Because in case of services, it might be difficult to tell on what day exactly services is received, because as it is an intangible, it will be difficult. That is why they have not put that point. Provided that where it is not possible to determine the time of supply under clause A or B. Sir, I am not able to determine the time of supply as per point A and B. Both A and B I am not able to determine. In that case, the time of supply shall be the date of entry in the books of accounts of the recipient. The date of entry in the books of accounts of the recipient. Clear? Please apply this proviso only if A and B, if you are not able to calculate. Don't straight away go to proviso. First, always A and B. Maximum scenarios you will be able to calculate. Agree? If not, if by chance in any rare scenario, if you cannot calculate, sir, I am not able to tell what is that 61st day from the date of invoice. I don't know what is the date of payment. Then only go to proviso. Clear? Yes, sir. So illustration and reverse charge. And under reverse charge, calculating 61st day is important, guys. That is the challenging thing. If you can do that properly with the minimum time, then around. Chalo, illustration, I have given two cases here. First one, date of invoice 14th October, date of entry in the books of account 20th October, date of credit in the bank account, just a second, it should be date of debit. Yeah, date of debit in the bank account, which is 21st October. So what is the date of payment? Earlier of date of entry or date of debit? Which is earlier? 20th October. Okay, sir. Then date of invoice is 14th October. Calculate 61 days from there. 61 days. How to calculate it? Let me just show it here. How many days in October? 31. Minus 10 days, including invoice date. How much you will get? 21. So this is October. How many days in November? 30 days. So totally how much you got? 51. But you need 61 days. So remaining 10 days. So October 21 days, November 30 days plus December 10 days. December 10 days. So 61st day is what? 10th December. 10th December. Okay, sir. So what is time of supply? 61st day or time of supply, which is earlier? 20th October. 20th October. See, normally they will give these three things in the exam. We need to find out the other three. Date of payment, if they have directly given, fine, you take it. If not, if they have given two different dates, take the earlier of that. That is the date of entry and date of debit. Then 61st day, definitely they will not give it. You need to calculate it. And time of supply, ultimate answer. Yeah, which I have marked it in bold. Next, second case. Date of invoices 4th September. Date of entry in the books of accounts is 30th November. And date of debit is 28th November, which is earlier, 28th November. Then 61st day from date of invoice. So invoice is issued on 4th November. September. Sorry, 4th September. Now, how many days in September? 30 days. Minus 9. So, how many days? 21 days. So, after September, October. 31 days. So, how much did you get? 52. So, I want totally 61 days. Remaining how much? 9. So, September 21 days. October 31 days. November 9. So, what is the 61st day? November 9th. Just a second. Just a second. Let me just recalculate it, because here it is given 4th November. Let me change, because there might be a wrong thing. Yeah, let me just repeat. So, sorry, 4th November, na? I have taken it here 9th. Just a second, guys. It is 4th September. So invoice date is 4th September. So 30 minus 4, 26. 26 days in September. Okay, sir. So September 26 days. October 31 days. So 31 plus 26. 31 plus 26. So it is 57. 57. I need few more days to reach for 61. That is 4 days. So 4 days of November. So 61st day is 4th November. 4th November. Is that clear? Chalo. So 61st day is 4th November. Date of payment is 28th November, which is earlier 4th November. Yeah. So please practice calculating that 61st day, guys. Again, taking the same things, or you can put your own days and calculate it. Yeah, practice it. Next, one more proviso has been given. This is if the supplier and recipient, if they are associated. Yeah, what is it? The second proviso. Provided further that in case of transaction between associated enterprises, where the supplier of service is located outside India, the time of supply will be the date of entry in the books of accounts of the recipient of the supply, or the date of payment, whichever is earlier. Sir, what is it? See, there is a transaction between associated enterprise. Associated enterprise means one person is controlling the other. AE. Okay. Actually, what is associated enterprise is defined in Income Tax Act. We would be covering it in our part 2, which is direct tax and international taxation. It is covered there. What is associated enterprise? What is international transactions and all? We'll be learning there. But as of now, associated enterprise means one of them are controlling the other, whether directly or indirectly. Okay, sir. So in that case, the supplier is outside India, recipient is in India. So what is the time of supply? It is earlier of 2 dates. That is the date of entry in the books of accounts of the recipient, because recipient is in India, or the date of payment. Date of payment means, earlier of 2 dates, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier means year 61 days and all is not there. So note, associated enterprise shall have the same meaning as assigned to it in section 92A of the Income Tax Act 1961. And we'll be learning that section 92A in our part 2 of paper 2, guys. Okay, next. Broadly, an associated enterprise in relation to another enterprise means an enterprise which participates directly or indirectly or through one or more intermediaries in the management or control or capital of the other enterprise. So you are participating in 3 things, either in the management or control or capital of the other enterprise. In that case, you both are called associated enterprise. Clear? What exactly is associated enterprise? There are few cases covered in section 92A. We'll be learning it in our direct tax and international tax syllabus, guys. Clear? And please be very careful. Only in the question when they specifically tell the supply is between associated enterprise, you apply this provision, or else apply normal provision. That is 13.2 A and B. Sorry, 13.3 A and B. Illustration. This is an illustration on associated enterprise. Soha Private Limited is an Indian company. It has received a taxable supply of services from UK-based company John Limited. So supplier is outside India, recipient is in India. Okay. On 1st January 2018, John Limited raised on Soha Private Limited an invoice of 55,000 euro pounds on 10th February 2018. Okay. Okay, service is actually this small clarification here. Let me read this illustration again. Please pay attention. Soha Private Limited is a company. It has received a taxable supply of services from a UK-based company on 1st January 2018. Means service is received on 1st January 2018. Okay. John Limited raised on Soha Private Limited an invoice of 55,000 euro on 10th February 2018. So invoice is raised on 10th February 2018. Fine. Next. John Limited debited its books of account on 25th February 2018. So they debited in their books of account 25th February and made the payment on 25th March 2018. Okay. So obviously made the payment means the date of debit will be on 25th March. John Limited and Soha Private Limited are associated enterprise. So we need to apply the proviso. Determine the time of supply. In case of associated enterprise, where the person providing the service is located outside India, the time of supply of services shall be earlier of the following 2 dates. That is date of entry in the books of accounts of Soha Private Limited. When the entry is made, 25th February. And date of payment. Date of payment is what? 25th March, which is earlier, 25th February. 25th February. And in this case and all, see date of payment, literally they have given only one. Straight away take that only. Yeah, straight away take that only as date of payment. Actually here the 2 dates doesn't matter. Date of debit, date of entry in the books of accounts. No, straight away they would have given date of payment. Straight away take that only. Clear, guys? Yes. So this is the reverse charge mechanism and for services. Next, coming to subsection 4. See subsection 4, 5 and 6. Copy paste of whatever is given in section 12 for goods, guys. Clear? Subsections will come in the same order. Whereas for voucher, residuary cases and value addition, it is same for goods. Copy paste, not even a single word change is there. Clear? Come on. Quickly we will recap. Subsection 1 will tell the liability to pay tax. Subsection 2 will tell the time of supply under forward charge for the supplier. Then subsection 3 will tell the time of supply under reverse charge, that is for the recipient who will pay tax. Then subsection 4 will tell the time of supply in case of voucher, which depends whether it is identifiable or not at the time of issue. Then subsection 5 talks about time of supply in residuary cases, that is only if the time of supply is not able to be calculated as per subsection 2, 3, 4, then only you come to 5. Okay. Then coming to subsection 6 talks about the value of supply in cases of addition in the form of interest, fee or penalty. Clear, guys? So the subsection orders remain same under section 12 as well as under subsection 13. Clear? You can quickly go through everywhere. You can observe there. I have given same as for goods, same as for goods. Here also same as for goods. You can just go through it once. Same as for goods under section 12.6. Clear? Yes, sir. Chala, guys. Hope you guys have gone through this. I have some illustrations on this. We'll go through this. Determine the time of supply from the given information. May 4th, a German company issues email informing its associate and company, ABC Limited, of cost of technical services provided to it. July 2nd, ABC Limited transfers the amount to the account of German company. So date of payment is July 2nd. And it is a transaction between associated enterprise. So you need to apply proviso. As there is no prior entry of the amount in the books of accounts of ABC Limited, there is no entry still made. They have not given in the question whether the entry is made or not. So assuming the entry is not made, July 2nd will be the time of supply being the date of payment. So July 2nd is given as the date of payment. Straight away take that only as time of supply because the date of entry is not given. It is assumed that it is not yet made. Okay. Next, coming to second illustration. Mugdha Private Limited is engaged in supply of services. It receives advances of rupees 1 lakh from the clients on 23rd June 2020 for the services to be rendered in the month of July 2020. So advance is received in June for the services to be provided in July. In that case, as per section 13.2, advances received are taxable at the time when such advances are received. That is only for services, whereas for goods, advance is not taxable. Thus, the time of supply of service is 23rd June 2020. It is 2020. Okay. Coming to third illustration. Rohan Limited provided a management consultancy services to Bhatia and Sons on 5th June 2020 and billed it for 1,20,000 on 10th July 2020. It received the payment for the same on 14th July 2020. Observe the scenario. So services are given on 5th June and invoice is issued on 10th July. So is it issued within 30 days? No, sir. Invoice is not issued within 30 days. Okay. It received the payment for the same on 14th July. So when invoice is not issued within the 30 days, within the due date, then what is the time of supply for forward charge? What is the time of supply? See, whenever reverse charge is not given, always it is forward charge. So time of supply would be the earlier of date of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier. So here it is 5th June. As per section 13.2, read with section 31.2, in case invoice has not been issued within 30 days of completion of service, the time of supply of service is date of completion of service, or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. So in this case, the date of completion of service is earlier, which is 5th June, guys. Yeah, yes. Next, fourth one. Best Hospitality Services enters into an agreement with Drive Marketing Limited, by which Drive Marketing Limited markets best hospitality services hotel rooms and sells coupons voucher redeemable for a discount against stay in hotel. So this is voucher scenario. As the supply against which voucher will be redeemed is identifiable, we know that for what exactly this voucher will be used. At the time of issue of voucher, the time of supply would be the date of issue of voucher. The dates are not given in the question, just finish like this. Fine, the time of supply would be date of issue of voucher, as supply was identifiable at the time of issue of voucher, guys. Yeah, so this is all about section 13, which talks about time of supply of services. So we have also discussed some problems on time of supply of goods. Now come to fifth problem, guys. Come to the problems now. Come to fifth one. We have some problems on services. We will do that. Yeah, come to fifth one. Let me start. Determine the time of supply from the given information. 6th May, booking of convention hall, sum agreed 15,000, advance of 3,000 is received. Means the person has booked the convention hall for 15,000 and an advance, token advance of 3,000 is given. Is the advance taxable? Yes, for services, because it is booking convention hall means service. 15th September, function held in the convention hall. So the date of service, date of providing service is what? 15th September. Okay. 27th October, invoice issued for 15,000, indicating balance of 12,000 payable. So is invoice issued within 30 days? No, sir. Invoice is not issued within 30 days because service was completed on 15th September. Invoice is issued 27th October after 30 days. Okay. Next, 3rd November, balance payment of 12,000 is received. So here there are two date of payment. So date of payment, let me just tell, date of payment for 3,000, it is different. For remaining 12,000, it is different. So for 3,000, it is 6th May. For 12,000, it is 3rd November. 3rd November. Okay, sir. So in this case, invoice is not issued within the due date. So you need to compare the date of payment with what? Date of completion of service. So date of completion of service is 15th September. So there are two time of supply here. So compare this with 15th September, which is earlier 6th May. 6th May. So for 3,000, time of supply is 6th May. Then for this, compare 3rd November with 15th September. 15th September is the date of completion of service, which is earlier 15th September. 15th September. So for 12,000, the time of supply would be 15th September, whereas for 3,000, the time of supply would be 6th May. Two time of supplies are there. Sir, can it happen like this? Yes, for services, as date of payment is also required. So let us go through the solution. As per section 13.2, time of supply of services taxable under forward charge will be earlier of the following dates when invoice is not issued within 30 days of supply of service. So the time of supply would be earlier of date of provision of service or date of receipt of payment. As per section 31.2, read with CGST rules, the tax invoice to be issued within 30 days of supply of service. And I have told you guys, whenever they are not specified clearly, like whether the supplier is banking, insurance and all, always take 30 days. Always take 30 days. Here some conventional services. So obviously it is covered under normal case. In the given case, the invoice is not issued within 30 days of supply of service, that is 15th September. As per section 13.2b, in case where the invoice is not issued within the prescribed time, that is 30 days, the time of supply of service will be earlier of the following dates. Date of provision of service, which is 15th September in the given case, that is the date on which the convention hall was used. Next, date of receipt of payment. There are two dates here. 6th May for 3,000 and 3rd November for balance amount. Yes, correct. Next, therefore, the time of supply of service to the extent of 3000 is 6th May, as the date of payment of 3000 is earlier than the date of provision of service, and the time of supply of service to the extent of balance 12,000 is 15th September, which is earlier than the date of payment. Fine. Let us go to the 6th question. Investigations shows that ABC and Co. carried out service of cleaning and repairs of tanks in an apartment complex. So ABC and Co. is a supplier, for which Apartment Owners Association showed a payment in cash on 4th April. So the recipient has recorded the payment on 4th April to them against work of this description. The dates of the work are not cleared from the records of ABC and Co. ABC and Co. have not issued invoice or entered the payment in their books of accounts. So in this case, ABC and Co. is the supplier. They have not issued the invoice. They have not recorded any payment in their books. So they are not able to determine the dates. So in that case, what is the miscellaneous provision available? That is the date on which the recipient has recorded the payment in his books. We will take that as the time of supply. Clear? Yes. The time of supply cannot be determined as per the provisions of clause A and clause B of section 13(2), as neither the invoice has been issued nor the date of provision of service is available, as also the date of receipt of payment in the books of the supplier is also not available. So you are not able to apply clause A or clause B. Can I go to clause C? Yes. Only when A and B cannot be applied, go to clause C. Thus, the time of supply will be determined as per section 13 subsection 2 clause C. The date on which the recipient of service shows the receipt of service in his books of accounts. He has recorded that he has made an entry on which 4th April he has recorded the payment. So on what day he has recorded the receipt of service? On 4th April. So that is the date on which the time of supply for the supplier. Actually, time of supply is for the supplier, for which we are referring to recipient. When did he enter? Because supplier don't have any data. Yeah. So 4th April is the time of supply. Next. Coming to 7th one. And I have already told you guys, whenever we are solving any problems, I have given the solutions in the material. But see, I suggest you guys, you can practice it once by writing it on your own, and later you can compare with the solution which I have given. And also, whenever I am solving it, please pause the video for a moment. Just go through the question and solution once. Yeah, you would have understood when I explained it, but still, you yourself can just take 1 or 2 minutes and just go through it quickly. Clear? Yes. So, 7th one. Determine the time of supply from the given information. Assume that service being supplied is taxable under reverse charge. Okay. May 4th. So, reverse charge. Service reverse charge means 13(3). May 4th, the supplier of service issues invoice for service provided. So, the date of invoice. There is a dispute about the amount payable. So, the payment is delayed. So, payment is made on what date? 21st August. And payment date, when they have clearly given, don't worry about, sir, what is the date of debit? What is the date of entry? Don't worry. If they are given straight away only one date, straight away take that only as date of payment. Okay. So May 4th, we need to calculate 61st day from that. So how many days in May? Come on, 31 minus 4, including invoice date. So how many days? 27. So in May, 27 days. Next in June, how many days are there? 30 days. So totally how much you got? 57. But you need how much? 61. So remaining is how much? 4. So it is July 4. So 61st day is July 4th, guys. July 4th. Hope you guys understood the calculation. I repeat, invoice is issued on 4th May. So there are totally 31 days in May. So 31 minus 4 you do, including invoice date. You will get 27 days. And next month is June, 30 days. So if you had both, 57. But I want 61st day. So what is the balancing figure? Remaining 4 days. So it is 4th July. Let me read the solution. As per section 13.3, time of supply of services taxable under the reverse charge mechanism is earliest of the following. Date immediately following 60 days from the date of issue of invoice, that is 61st day from the date of issue of invoice. You need to take date immediately following 60 days means, see what they have given in the law is date immediately following 60 days. But in simple, I am telling 61st day from the date of invoice. Clear? Yes, sir. Then date of payment. In the given case, 61st day from the date of issue of invoice. They have not used this in the law language. In the law, what they have used is date immediately following 60 days from the date of issue of invoice. You can also use the same thing when you are explaining the provision. Clear? But while calculating, okay, remember 61st day. Okay, which is July 4th. How to calculate it? Should you prove it in the exam? No. Straight away write the date. Roughly calculate it. You just in your calculator also you can do it and write it. Then please be careful because even one date here and there also will make a difference. Date of payment is August 21st. So earlier of the two is July 4th, which will be time of supply. Which will be a time of supply, guys. Clear? Yes, sir. 7 questions done. Just a second. Yeah. Next is examination question, June 21. See, every problem what I do is not an examination problems because previous problems and all you can see. With some problems for practice sake, at least we have to do it because there are only like few exams which have been conducted under new syllabus. So you cannot expect, okay, on each and everything questions are asked in the exam. No. So at least we should know how to calculate it. If by chance, if it is asked in the upcoming exams, clear? So wherever I have not mentioned the attempt, that means it is not an examination questions, guys. So 8th one is an examination question. Examination questions for sure I will be covering in the class, plus some additional problems for practice. Chalo. Determine the time of supply in the following transactions. There are 4 cases given here. It is asked in June 21 exams for 4 marks. A. Grocery supplier company issues a voucher of 3,500 for purchase of any item from its stores against bulk purchase. So any item can be purchased. So supply is not identifiable at the time of issue of voucher. So what is the time of supply? Issue date of redemption. Since the voucher of 3,500 is an unidentifiable voucher or not identifiable, you can write. The date of redemption of the voucher would be the time of supply as per section 12.4 of CGST Act. And they are not given the dates. Just write time of supply is date of redemption. That's all. If they have given the date, you will mention it. If not, just write the answer and leave it. Then B. So for each of the thing, 1 marks, guys, because there are 4 cases here. Grocery supplier company issues a voucher only to buy an electric fan for 3,500 on 15th September 2019. So voucher is issued on what day? 15th September to purchase what? Only electric fan. So is it identifiable? Yes, sir. So the time of supply will be date of issue of voucher, which is given in the question. In this case, it is identifiable. That is, supply is identifiable. Means it is called identifiable voucher, and hence the date of issue of voucher shall be the time of supply, which is 15th September as per section 12 subsection 4, because it is a voucher which can be used against the supply of goods. So you need to mention 12.4. If the voucher can be used against the supply of service, you use section 13.4. Both tells the same thing. The provision will not change, but only 12.4 is for goods, 13.4 is for services. That's all. Please take care of that also. Instead of mentioning 12.4, if you mention 13.4, marks will be deducted. At least half marks they might cut it. Yeah, make sure that you will not lose marks. Don't give the opportunity for the evaluator to cut even half marks, guys. Your answer should be presented in such a way. Third, Ram purchases goods worth 10,000 on 10th January 2021 and later on paid 10,600 with interest. On 10th March 2021, Mention the time of supply for interest payment of 600. So interest payment of 600. So which section should you apply? Subsection 6. So it is for a good. So it is subsection 12, subsection 6, guys. So the time of supply would be on what day payment is received? 10th March. For 600, the time of supply is 10th March. As per section 12.6, the time of supply to the extent it relates to an addition in the value of supply by way of interest, late fee or penalty for delayed payment of any consideration shall be the date on which such supplier receives such additions in value. So in the given case, the time of supply for interest, they have asked only for interest, it shall be 10th March 2021. Sir, what about remaining 10,000? They have not asked it, but that will be as per 12.2. Time of supply for 10,000 would be as per 12.2, guys. If they are not asked, don't answer, because this question is only for 1 mark. So don't start answering something here which is not asked and all. Yeah. Yes. If it is, yes, if the question is asked for 4 and 5 marks, we will connect it to different points and try to explain it. Okay. Yeah. D. Saroj Consultancy Services, so service, received advance of 50,000 from the clients on 31st December 2020 for services to be rendered in the month of March 2021. So should they pay tax on this advance? Yes. With respect to services, date of payment is covered. So when advance is received, what date of payment will be earlier? So time of supply would be date of payment. D, answer for D point. As per section 13.2 of Central Goods and Service Tax Act, advances received are taxable at the time when such advances are received, because the date of payment will be earlier. Accordingly, 31st December 2020 shall be the time of supply for advance payment of 50,000 received by Saroj Consultancy Services. And if advance is received and all, the other things doesn't matter, sir, when invoice is issued, when the service is completed, because time of supply is earlier date of payment, which will be earlier, na? Clear? Yes. One more lengthy question. Again, examination question on services. Determine the time of supply by giving reasons. The reasons also they're asking in brief. Oh. In each of the following cases, in accordance with provisions of CGST Act 117. Date of completion of service is given, date of invoice is given. First cross check whether the invoice is issued within 30 days. If yes, the time of supply will be date of invoice or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Next, if the invoice is not issued within 30 days, then the date of completion of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier, will be the time of supply. Yeah, yes, sir. So 4 different scenarios are given. First, explain the provision. As per section 13.2, the time of supply of services shall be in case where the invoice has been issued on time as per section 31, earlier of date of issue of invoice and date of payment. In case if the invoice has not been issued on time, then earlier of date of completion of service or date of payment. Clear? Yes, sir. Next, as per section 31.2, read with CGST rules, the tax invoice is to be issued within 30 days of completion of service. So this is the explanation of provision. Now there are totally 4 cases which is asked. So we'll determine what is the time of supply. Pay attention, guys. Now, and forward charge. This is forward charge. Date of completion of service is 16th July, first case. Date of invoice is 21st July. So invoice is issued within due data. Yes, sir. In that case, date of completion will not matter. So date of payment is 26th August. So 21st July or 26th August, which is earlier? 21st July. Yeah. Since invoice is issued within 30 days of completion of service and the payment date is later than the invoice date is the time of supply. Yeah, because they have asked you to give reasons also for each case. That is why I mentioned it there. Next, second case. Date of completion of service is 16th August. Invoice is issued on 11th September within 30 days. So in that case also, this will not matter for me. Next, date of receipt of payment is 1st September. Date of receipt of payment is 1st September, which is earlier. 1st September or 11th September? 1st September. Since invoice issued within 30 days of completion of service and payment received was earlier than the invoice date, So the time of supply would be the payment date. Next, third case. Date of completion of service is 16th September. Invoice is issued on 11th October. Within 30 days? Yes, sir. If it is issued within 30 days, then date of service will not matter for me. Next, coming to part payment. Part payment on 1st October and remaining payment on 26th October. So date of payment is 2 year. Don't take whichever is earlier because two payments are made in installments. Okay. So first compare 11th October with 1st October. 1st October for the part payment, they are not mentioned the amount. So first for the first payment, 1st October is the time of supply. Next compare 11th October with 26th October. For that remaining amount, the time of supply would be 11th October, guys. There are two time of supply here. As invoice is issued within 30 days from the date of completion of service, time of supply shall be 1st October for the part payment, that is first payment, and 11th October for the remaining payment being the date of invoice. Clear? Yes, sir. Next. Fourth case, last case. 16th October is the date of completion of service. Invoice is issued on 11th November. Within 30 days? Yes, sir. Again within 30 days. So date of completion of service. You guys don't scratch like this in the exam. This is just for your explanation. You don't do any all these alterations in the exam. Please make sure that you are presenting clean and neat. So part payment on 12th November and remaining payment on 15th November. So there are two payments made. So first time of supply will be earlier of 11th and 12th, then 11th and 15th. So both the cases actually 11th only is earlier. So for both the payments, the time of supply is 11th. 11th November 2019 for both the payments. The invoice issued within 30 days of completion of service and the payments received after the date of invoice. Both the payments are received after the date of invoice. So the date of invoice for both the payments is the time of supply, guys. Yeah. Here, see, I know that for 4 marks, this is little extra presentation, but still you cannot avoid anything here, guys. Yeah. See, explanation of provision is also required. Plus, they have also asked you to explain the reason, be giving reason, or else I would have told you just to mention the dates here. Just to mention the dates. But here they have asked you the reasons also in each case. Yeah. Yes, for 4 marks, it is little bit more. Okay, but still we cannot avoid. Because in the exam, sometimes it happens like this. For 4 marks question, I may end up presenting little more. Okay, but only to the point. Whatever is required only we are explaining, not something which is irrelevant. Yeah. Sometimes for 5 marks question, I may present only less because the content is only less. It may happen like that. Chalo, we are done with 9 questions. So we have one more problem, which is actually on section 14. So we have discussed section 12 and 13, guys, which talks about the time of supply. We are left with one more section, which we will cover it in the next video. Until then, take care, guys. Bye-bye.